This is the Sports Porch, Black and Gold, with your hosts, the technical director, the Grand Schwabini, and Hockey Jesus. Come on, Pittsburgh. Let's show a little Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates love. The Sports Porch Black and Gold starts now.
Oh my God! Here we go again.
Oh, boys.
Boys,
Look at that.
something's wrong.
Look at that.
Jesus, you think
And what
we
did
would
I
be
say?
ready
What
for
did I
this?
say? I said I checked this out. But you know what? I'm going to blame this all on you guys.
Sure, why not?
Look, you're watching the Sports Porch Black and Gold edition. You're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, all over the world. And if you're on YouTube, thanks for being here. Make sure you click that surprise button.
The surprise, and something will pop out on the screen right in your face.
And you might actually get a surprise. Click that subscribe button and notifications, and you'll know when we go live every Monday night at 7 p.m. It's been a long day, guys.
It is going to be a long one.
I'm not going to tell you this story. I spent almost half the day at the vet. And it's just not a good story to tell. So, but anyway, you can subscribe at the Sports Porch Podcast on YouTube,
Thoughts
on
and
X,
prayers.
at the Sports Porch 1. Our website.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thank you. Our website is theporcheslive.com. I am your technical director. To my right in the studio is Hockey Jesus, and across from me in our basement studios in Monroeville, yes, we do this excellence from a basement, is the Grand Schwabini. You can see up here in the corner, that's a live shot of the studio. I hate it. It makes all three of us look fat, especially me. So, we'll probably get rid of that. But what are we going to do? Listen, guys.
I think we should get a close up on your gut.
I think you already have a close up on my gut, even from back there. One more thing. You can also subscribe to the podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. We had a great response from our post-game show on Thursday night. Had a great time doing that. Hopefully we can welcome a lot of people back here. Picked up a ton of subscribers, and our stats kind of went through the roof on that graph that I showed you. And it keeps getting better and better. So thanks for subscribing there.
I blame the Steelers.
We're going to be moving. People do get angry. So we're going to be moving everything over to YouTube, and we'll probably keep it on X too, because we get a great response there. So if you haven't already, if you're watching on Facebook, or even if you're watching on X, go over to YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast and just subscribe there. That's where all of our content's going to end up being in the long run for the most part. So what are we going to do tonight? Well, on Thursday night, we kind of broke the game down emotionally, like a lot of us did. And tonight I thought, well, the dust is settled now.
It sure has settled.
And we're looking towards a Sunday night game, which we're going to preview, of course, at Acrisure Stadium. So we come to a home game, familiar field, but the Packers are coming into town. So we're going to break that game down. Are the Packers really as good? I mean, they definitely don't look as good as they did in the first couple games, but we'll get into that. We're going to do the blame game. We're going to compare stats of the big guys, TJ, Cam Hayward, JPJ, Aaron Rodgers. What did they look like last year after the first 6 games? There is a little wrinkle in there, and I think you all know what it is. Who's to blame? Really, how are they going to fix it? And as always, we want your comments. We want you to chime in. That's what we do here. Combined 150 years of watching sports together as friends. Yes, we did crack the death code. and we tell it like we see it. We're not insiders. We just have a discussion. That's what we want to do with you. So let's start this discussion. I'm going to start it off by saying, who's to blame? TJ Watt, 2024 versus 2025, the first 6 games. I did this on Canva, guys. Look at that.
Canva's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Really well done.
Who's to blame? So TJ Watt, first 6 games, 2024, he had 33 tackles versus 25, 21 solo versus 10, 6.5 sacks versus 4 this year, obviously. 2 forced fumbles, 1 this year, and then 1 both years. So has, you look at that and you say through the first 6 games of last year versus this year, has he fallen off? And I would say yes, a little. His solo tackles are down. A lot of times that's against the run, right? His sacks are down, but look, 6 games, 4 sacks. That's not an elite level. I think he's 9th in the league in sacks right now. So he's producing from that. One stat on there is interceptions. He does have 1 interception this year, I believe. Right?
Yeah, the one that Hayward tipped.
Yeah,
the tip.
Which wasn't, it was an interception. So TJ Watt, how do you guys feel about now? And again, I'm not sitting here saying TJ Watt is the problem. I'm saying let's look at TJ Watt and Cam Hayward. They're the stalwarts on defense,
right?
Last year versus this year. So let's talk about TJ Watt. You guys go ahead and chime in. I'll keep an eye on the comments.
Well, I would say that he's dropped off a little bit, but he's still within range to have what would be a typical season for him. Maybe, and I do feel like he's come on a little bit of late. I guess the negative, if I would point out one negative, is it seems like the games in which they lose, he's not doing much in those games. That's so it's like, he's kind of making an impact. Like what the record's 4-2.
4-2. That's right.
So he's making he's basically making an impact 2/3 of the time. And when they don't win, he's not really making an impact. That's I think it's a voice of reason type comment.
Yeah, it's hard for me to have emotion about TJ Watt because he's just not been the TJ Watt, where he was defensive player of the year. Right. So and not that I would expect that from him this year, to be honest with you, because their whole defense is just gotten better. The one thing I have noticed, even though his sacks are down, the Steelers are as a team this year, 3rd in the league in sacks with 22. The Broncos are killing it, and the Rams are right behind them. But I think he's made other guys better. Like, I think he's made Herbig better. I think he's made Highsmith better. I'm not so sure about the middle ground. And as far as the tackles go, that's so hard to say, because it's like, how many times do they run at him? How many times do they run against him? And I know last year, for example, they weren't running towards him very much at all. This year, I think they are running more towards him. But I'm not disappointed in his play. Let's put it that way. I'm not impressed with his play either. So I think overall, I'm looking at TJ Watt and I'm saying I don't think he's the problem on defense, but I think he could help by getting more sacks and getting more pressures and just causing a little bit more chaos in the quarterback against the quarterback. I think that's been less from just a touchy-feely standpoint.
Yeah. And how about yourself there, Theodore?
Chris, Theodore?
No, it just came out.
PD. Oh. Chris Jada chimes in. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for all those comments you leave on Spotify as well. And YouTube. Really appreciate that, guys. Leave your comments. No comment is off limits. We respect all opinions on this show.
Yes, we do.
Except mine most of the time. Seems like there's been no game-changing, game-saving plays by Watt like in the past. There were games where he saved the Steelers. Now, we all know that. And that's one of the things that the Grant Schwabini's been talking about for the last at least 3 years, maybe longer, that the Steelers defense has thrived on the splash play.
Splash play. Yeah.
They're the splash play defense. The way I see it is the splash play over the long run is not going to win ball games for you all the time. You have, especially when you have a very, very bad run defense or pass defense or both, which right now we seem to have. And I think TJ, I'm gonna say it here. Maybe he's playing a little bit nicked up. God knows, 6 games in, everybody's got a bump and a bruise at least. But it looks to me like he may have lost a step. That's what it looks like to me. And it wouldn't be surprising considering his age and the toll on his body. I don't for one second think that he's not playing 100%, meaning giving that effort. No doubt. But I don't see him when I watch him get off the ball and really take a first step, because I tried to pay attention to him during the Bengals game because I was very concerned if they don't get the Flacco, we know what he's going to do. Right. And it did not seem to me like his first and second step had as much speed to him and as much power. He just doesn't seem to be getting there. And the only reason I bring this up, other than all the obvious reasons, is that the Bengals offensive line was supposed to be really bad. Really bad. So, let's say he had one sack in the game. Didn't he took part in a late sack?
Yeah.
I think
was it a split?
Yeah, it was one of those half where it was like the guy was already going
right.
down.
I actually don't think he got credit for that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. If he had gotten, say, 2 sacks in the game, but they had still lost, those sacks, he did his part. So when people say he doesn't do his part, it's not that he's not doing his part. I think he's lost a step. And my fear is that we're going to see more of this throughout the year, because he's only going to get more tired.
Here is Amy May, who has made her way over to YouTube.
Very good. Thank you, Amy May.
Amy, welcome to YouTube.
I think he is part of the problem. Plus, he needs to play more. He's always on the side, not on the field. Well, she does watch the games with me, guys.
Mm-hmm. So she knows what's going on.
And I always point it out.
It's like, why is he not in?
Right.
It's
why
like
is he not
third
in?
Down,
right.
And it's 8.
Yeah.
Why is he not in there trying to get to the quarterback?
Or it's like it's like the other team had the ball for 8 minutes. Why is he not in on first down when they it's just crazy.
So wait a minute. What you're doing is you're basically saying you're the one pointing it out and she's just commenting.
No, I think she's got a mind of her own.
Okay, thank you. I was I was trying to defend you there, Amy. Yeah. I was going to say, no, this sounds like Amy made this observation. But of course, last week, Steve mentioned it. HJ after the game on Thursday, HJ actually said to himself, or said to us, why is TJ not on the field on first and second down in the first quarter?
Right.
It's like, is he gassed already? What's going on? That leads me to think that maybe, just maybe, there's something else going on there. Now, admittedly, this week I didn't pay as much attention to the injury reports and all of that other stuff. So I don't know if they're talking about it behind the scenes or not. But at the same time, I definitely think that I think he's lost a step. That's me. Mike Lawrence is in the house. What is up, Mike? He's over on YouTube. Thanks for going there, Mike. How can the defense allow Chase to catch 16 balls? I've seen critics blame Terrell Austin. Others say it's not his fault since Tomlin calls the defense. Thoughts? Also seems like no adjustments. Let's get to that. We want to push that down. Let's move on to Cam Hayward. How about that?
Okay, but first, Amy does say that she makes many observations.
We know, Mark. Yes, we know. Mm-hmm. She's a very observant lady, a very, very observant lady. So who's to blame? We want to know. Cam Hayward, 2024 versus 2025. Let's put these stats up here. 2024, 38 tackles, 16 solo, 3 sacks, no fumbles, forced or recovered. No interceptions. 2025, 19 tackles, 11 solo, 1.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Starting with me again.
You forgot to put down his 12 batted balls. That's all he does.
12. Yeah, they don't have that. They don't have that on the ESPN stats. But so I look at that and I say 100%. He's got half the tackles.
Right.
A little over a quarter solo. The 1.5 sacks, I mean, he's a defensive lineman. You're not looking for him to have 6 sacks at this point in the year. Not bad. And he did force a fumble. So, but his play is down. He looks gassed a lot. I'm going to say the same thing for me about Cam Hayward. I think, and we could talk all we want about how he kind of held them hostage at the beginning of the year and all that bullshit, of course. I think he gives 100%, but I think 100% at this point just ain't going to do it anymore. We're not going to see the Cam Hayward. We'll see flashes. We'll see flashes, but we're not going to see that Cam Hayward of years ago. I think him and Watt have kind of started to age themselves out. How about you, Schwaber?
Well, I mean, look, the stats tell the story that he is not the same player he was last year. Although I will give a caveat that he basically did not participate in any preseason at all.
This is true. So,
you could almost look at the first 6 games of this year as his preseason, getting into game shape.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of wait to see if he picks it up a little bit, but it's not going to surprise me if he doesn't. I just think, I think for whatever reason, he really was an excellent player last year. I mean, which was kind of surprising at his age. I mean, that's why they got him to sign a not so great deal, really, because he didn't play that great the year before.
Right.
And so last year was kind of a surprise. It was like, he went into the fountain of youth or something. I think just this year, it's just kind of that was sort of like a mirage or an anomaly last year, and he's just kind of back to just an aging guy who's just up there in years and just doesn't have the same burst or the same stamina. So I think he's a guy who you could certainly say has lost a step. That's why he's putting his hands up all the time to bat the balls down.
Right. Yeah, because he's nowhere near the quarterback. Right.
But I will say he is very good at that.
He does get in a lane. I mean, he is watching the quarterback's eyes, and he's trying to time that. I do think that's his best attribute, but I absolutely agree with you, Mark. I don't think that he's going to be getting any better this year. I think the only saving grace is he won't be playing as much because of the guys that we got on that interior line now. Yaya Black and
you mean YA? YA.
No, I'm never saying YA.
Why?
I don't care.
It's Yaya.
Because I heard Yaya, and that's what I'm going to say.
All right.
And if you don't like it, tough shit.
Okay.
Okay.
He's feisty tonight.
All right. Is that good enough for you?
I think he's been staying up too late doing these hockey Jesus.
No, there's no such thing as staying up too late for hockey. You know that.
My God.
Anyway,
Okay.
so as far as Hayward goes, I mean, he's over the hill. I mean, I was frankly shocked by his play last year, and I ate some crow because I said he's never going to be good again, and he was very good last year, but he's not showing it this year. I think it is a regression to the norm, and his norm is just up the middle. The one thing that I noticed last year that I'm not noticing this year is when he was in there, the run just got stopped. I mean, nobody could run through that line when he was in there.
Yeah.
They could run through almost anywhere now. It seems like when there's holes, they're big holes. So I haven't been paying enough attention to see if it's when Hayward was in there. But I can tell you on some of those runs by Brown on Thursday, Hayward was absolutely chasing him down, and I think that's a problem moving forward because of all the problems they're having in the secondary right now. But I think it's not something that can be fixed by him.
Yeah, I agree. What are your comments? How do you feel about this? Cam Hayward, TJ Watt. I think all three of us kind of said they're over the hill, and maybe that's the reason. All right, next up on our list, who's to blame? Now, this is a very controversial one, I think, within the Sports Porch studios.
Put your helmet on.
And I think it's also controversial outside. Teddy Belcher, 4K ultra wide. Is that what you're watching us on there, Teddy? 49ers go 13 games without one interception, and the Steelers defense still cries more.
What?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think he's saying we get a lot of turnovers, and yet we're still crying about our defense.
Yeah.
Well, he's not wrong.
Yards and points count too, though.
Teddy, welcome to the porch. It's good to have you. The one thing about the Steelers is we always have such a high level of performance because their defense is the most expensive defense in the league. So
Yes.
We don't expect the offense to score 35 points and then the defense to give up 36 points. I mean, we just expect our defense to only give up less than 20 points every game and get a turnover almost every game. So that's just the way we're built here in Pittsburgh, Teddy. I don't know if you're a Steelers fan or a Niners fan. Either way, that's why I think we cry a lot.
And that's an excellent explanation, because it's true. Highest paid defense in the league, like, you expect, and you have the right to expect as a fan and as an owner and as a coach, that defense is going to perform one hell of a lot better than it's performing now. Takeaways or not, that run defense is absolutely atrocious. And of course it affects everything out. Cam, he has a follow-up. Cam Hayward can't be trusted to drive the kids to school with just $15 million. Yeah. Exactly. He played him. Right. He played him. Okay.
We could use some bus drivers around here. Maybe that's a good second job for him, Teddy.
Imagine. Yeah, he'd get a lot of tips.
Hey, at least it would make for a good commercial.
Okay, if you're watching us on YouTube, thanks for watching us there. We're migrating everything over to YouTube and X in the very near future. We're going to, throw out a bunch of reminders on that at the Sports Porch Podcast. Click subscribe, hit notifications. You'll know when we go live, which is pretty much every single Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We were at 7:30, but we moved it back to our original time, 7 p.m. And also, we're going to start doing Steelers post-game shows. Last week's show, or Thursday's show, was pretty damn good and pretty damn fun.
Oh my God! If I see another comment about Joey Porter being too handsy, I'm going to lose my shit.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're going to do right here.
There goes Amy.
Marvin Hamilton in the house. Joey Porter needs a lot of coaching. Too handsy on his coverage, and that's where we were going to go. Who's to blame? I want to caveat this by saying that when I started thinking about the superstars on our defense, I didn't use Jalen Ramsey because, like, different team, completely different contract.
Hard to compare against last year. I did do Aaron Rodgers, though, because as a quarterback, I think with a guy of his caliber and experience, you can do that. But I use JPJ because he's controversial right now. Coming out of college, really high-ranked cornerback. His first year, some struggles, but showed signs of greatness.
Amy didn't see it that way during the draft. She says they took Porter because his dad was a Steeler and his type was Tom.
And that's probably very true. So
there is some truth there.
But
sure.
Second year, last year, did not make a big leap. And this year does not look like he's making a very big leap either. So
he was hurt.
JPJ,
you're talking about people being hurt. He was also hurt.
That is the caveat that I spoke about earlier. So I'm going to pull in this 2024 versus 2025 for PJ with the caveat, of course, that he was hurt for a couple games. 2024, 36 tackles, 27 solo, 1 interception through the first 6 games, no fumbles. 2025, 11 tackles, 8 solo, no interceptions, no forced fumbles or recoveries. I make less of this because he was injured for, was it 2 games or 3?
He was not in the first 3 games.
The first 3 games. So this is really only a 3-game sample. Mm-hmm. So if you double it, he would have 22, 16 and 1, a little bit less. My issue with JPJ is that I think he's handsy, and I think he gets called, and I think they're starting to notice it. Can that be taken away with coaching? Maybe. Can we look at, them playing Thursday night, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and kind of give him a little bit of a quote unquote pass because of that? I don't know that I want to give him a pass because he's supposed to be a budding young superstar corner for the Steelers, and he seems to get schooled by a lot of these elite receivers. And it's kind of like, at what point are we going to see him step up and shut somebody down for a game? So I don't blame him because it's only 3 games. But I am starting to I think the shine is starting to come off of JPJ for people. I think it is. Schwaber, you go first, because I know Steve's HJ's the exact opposite. He's a JPJ homer. I know he is.
Well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I do think that JPJ has potential to be a very good corner. I think the problem is that in the way he has started playing from the beginning of his career, he's gotten a reputation as a guy who's constantly, giving a pass interference.
Right.
So the refs are looking for it. Right.
Yes.
And look, all cornerbacks do the tug of the jersey, hand fight, all that kind of stuff. In a way, what you have to do is, number one, you sort of have to earn your right to not get called for that. And the way you do that, I believe anyway, is you have to pick and choose your spots not to do that.
Yeah.
You have to let the refs see you play a completely clean play and not cause an interference for them to start getting into their minds that, like, okay, you've learned you're not just grabbing the receiver every single time down the field.
Right.
Right. And that's the problem. For whatever reason, nobody's really getting through to his head that you have to pick and choose your spots.
Yeah.
I do think he can turn it around and become a good player. Now, I don't see him as like a shutdown corner or anything like that, but I see him as being like a real quality cornerback if he can learn kind of like the subtleties and the nuances. He really almost like has to become a veteran, maybe even a little early,
right?
So that he gets the benefit of non-calls. And he has to do that by playing some cleaner play. If he does that, then I think you'll start, the calls will start being 50-50-ish instead of 100% of the time he gets called. That's what's going on with him. And, it's not been an easy year because he's missed a lot of time. And I think he also does probably feel the pressure because, technically he's not really a starting corner anymore with Ramsey and Slay on the field.
Right.
So he's probably feeling like he's got to do something, to make sure he's on the field. So he might be, playing, might be trying to do too much would be the way to put it.
And before HJ chimes in here, I'd say that bringing Ramsey and Slay in, that had many purposes. And one of those was probably they're veterans. They're, definitely Hall of Famers. They know how to get away with this stuff and do exactly what you're talking about. So I'm willing to give him this year as another year of growth, and see what comes out next year. I'm not going to call it yet the way that I am known to call things. But right now it just doesn't look like a whole lot of progress between rookie year and now. So the floor is yours, HJ.
Well, I agree with what Mark said. I think, he is getting a bad rep, but I disagree with what he said by saying, you got to play hands off sometimes. I think you got to play handsy all the fucking time. I think that the refs aren't going to call it all the time. And if you look at, Sauce Gardner and these guys, they're always putting their hands on the guy. The thing is, he's doing it a little too much when the ball is coming. So that's where he's got to stop. He's got to stop when the ball's in the air or coming towards the receiver. And that's what he has to learn. But as far as being handsy, I fucking love it. I think a good cornerback knows how to hold a receiver back from getting open too far or making that cut too quickly. That gives them a distinct advantage on the defense. But they have to do it when the refs aren't looking. When the ball's coming is not the time to do it. And just so we can be fair about this, when Joey Porter was drafted, he was drafted with Devin Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez, Deontay Bank, and Emmanuel Forbes. Do you know any other of these guys besides maybe Witherspoon?
Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, the guy from the Patriots is like a Pro Bowler, I think.
Yeah.
Gonzalez.
Well, he only has one interception, and his pass defenses are 1/7 of what JP Jr. does. So the problem is I think also is quarterbacks are throwing to JPJ's side. They're not afraid to throw it to his side, and that's putting it at a disadvantage because let's face it, if they threw to you 6 times you're probably going to get a pass interference one of those 6 times. It's just the odds of the game. So what he has to do is he's got to be more blanketed and handsy so that the guy doesn't look open to the quarterback, so he's not throwing his way. I think he's playing it the opposite way, and I think that's where he's getting mixed up. I think he's been an excellent pick for the Steelers. I agree with you. I don't think he's going to be a Sauce Gardner. I don't think he's going to be one of these shutdown corners. But I think he's great for what the Steelers drafted him in the position they drafted him in, and you can't convince me otherwise.
Well, I mean, the one thing I would disagree with you on, though, is that I don't think you have to be handsy on every single play. I mean, there's times, like if you watch Jalen Ramsey, he will jump a route and dive and bat the ball down with one hand, and he really doesn't touch the receiver. You know, I mean, there are guys who, like, you know, Slay, he might cover a deep pattern, and, you know, the ball hits the hands of the receiver, and then he punches it out. You know what I mean? So like there is a way to play. It's not like you're playing soft, but you know, you're just like, you know, you're right there. The timing is just right there. And his timing always seems to be a little bit too in front of, you know, it's a half a second in front of where it should be.
I think I think in a way that's exactly, I think in a way that's exactly what Steve was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think what he's saying is, what I'm hearing at least is, you love the contact, but you wish he would time it better, because if you're contacting them while the ball's in the air, that's the greatest amount of time for that ref to notice it. But if you can time it correctly and your contact hits, like the one pass that Jalen Ramsey defended on Chase, where at the very last second he dove in there with his right hand and tipped the ball away. He did have his arm around the back of him, and there was contact. But that contact pretty much happened at the time the ball got
it was like the
there.
exact same time. Right.
So I think what you're saying is he needs to learn that. And that goes right back to my point about perhaps I'm willing to give him this year of growth, because, you know, so some of those guys are in his ear. Like, you got to be better. You got to be better at reading the route. You got to be better at timing the ball. You got to be better at arriving right at the right time. And look, that takes a lot of skill and effort. No doubt about it.
It does.
So I don't think JPJ is bad. I just don't think he is where we expected him to be as Steelers fans. And I don't think he was a bad draft pick. He was a need.
I think he's where we expected him. What did you expect him to be? A shutdown corner?
Well, I mean, he was he like the second pick in the second round?
32. He was number 32.
Is that the first round?
Yeah.
So he was a first round pick. I don't know.
No, it's like
second
you said,
round?
early second round.
He was the first pick of the second round.
I mean, I think, like, look, I mean, here's the bottom line. When you're picked in the first half of the second round, the good teams are picking players who turn out to be Pro Bowlers at that spot.
That's what they're hoping.
That's what they're hoping.
They're expecting.
Right,
it doesn't always happen.
Right, but what I'm saying is he's not there yet.
Yeah, and I don't think he's there either. And I seem to remember, and I'll tell you what, I will not be able to go back and find it. But you know what? I might. I swear to God, when they were drafting JPJ, he was calling him a shutdown corner. I swear to God, I remember having a conversation on the porch.
No, stop making shit up.
There we go.
You just made something up to make me sound bad, and you have no proof of it at all. So just stop that shit right now. Just stop it. Okay.
Every time.
And
this is what you're saying.
Loser every time.
That'll be a loser every time.
You can't even hear it.
I know. I'm trying.
It's terrible. Don't even play that again.
It's terrible.
Stay in your lane.
It's terrible.
Oh boy.
Let's see what happens when I do this. Is that a little better?
That's a little bit better. A little better.
Don't worry.
If you got to play it 3 times, it's not good.
Okay. So what we're looking at here is, you could see how we kind of debate this JPJ thing all the time, but it's a debate that fans are having all the time. You listen to sports radio, you watch some of these other shows, listen to the podcasts, you get the same stuff. You get people that are, I hear people that are more disappointed than on Steve's side, but it's not that there's sides, but I think this year has to be a year of growth for him. or then it is a bad pick.
I did say when he was picked that it was a homer pick, and I didn't like it for that reason.
Okay,
that is true. Immediately after,
which is why I'm kind of a
true.
fan now, because his rookie year he played really well, and I think he's still playing at that level. So I don't understand the angst about him. I mean, I just don't get it.
Well, here's the angst about him. The angst about him is, he's pretty much dialing up about 2 or 3 PIs a game, and they always seem to be at a really bad time. And so it's really easy to pinpoint him as the problem.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. I mean, you're probably right in the fact that outside of those 2 or 3 plays, he's playing well.
Right.
Like he did in the last game. He had a really nice play on a ball. I saw, you pointed it out, but like when you lose a game by like 1 point or 3 points or whatever it is, and drives have continued because he's the one who's getting the PI, that's why everybody's blaming him.
Yeah.
I actually have more problem with the holding penalties. I hate the holding penalties. Like, to me,
on the corners, or
in general, because those you may be holding somebody who's on the opposite side of the field,
right,
who's maybe not even in the play,
right,
but you think they're going to be in the play, so you hold them. The
right.
only time you should hold somebody is if they're going for a touchdown and they're behind you and they're gonna beat your ass. That's when you grab them and you pull them down. But this handsy stuff in the 5-10 yard mark, when they're not even going to get a first down, that's where I have the problem with the handsy.
All right, JPJ. Your opinion in the comments. If you're watching us on YouTube, thanks so much. We are on YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast. Hit the subscribe button, click notifications. You'll know when we're live, which is every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, and usually within about 10 minutes of the Steelers game ending. So this Sunday night, after the Steelers game, Packers-Steelers, we will be live with our comments, reactions, and yours, because that's what this is all about. Marvin Hamilton says he needs to work more with Slay. And that's what we were talking about. Marvin, do us a favor. If you don't have that YouTube app, get it on your phone. It's free. I know us old people, we don't want to go over to YouTube, but the whole world is going over there. And subscribe. Would really love that, because we're going to move on to YouTube over the next coming weeks exclusively. We will still have the podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast.
Hey, when Utah says jump, we say how high.
That's right.
When you're wanted, you're wanted.
Mike Lawrence on YouTube says, on his stats, how many flags? Are you looking that up?
No.
You want to look that up?
I don't know where to look.
I don't think they even have that.
You could just Google how many penalties does Joey Porter Jr. have this year, and it'll pop up. So we'll get to that question in a second. Now, I think Chris Chada had a question about here about the or Mike Lawrence said about the defense. Tomlin calls the defense. Let's do this, and then we'll do the Aaron Rodgers comparison, because that's offense. So way back when, Mike Lawrence, thanks for being here, buddy. How can the defense allow Chase to catch 16 balls? I've seen critics blame Terrell Austin. Others say it's not his fault, since Tomlin calls the defense. Thoughts? Also seems like no adjustments. One of the biggest pet peeves HJ has had is it does look like no adjustments. I personally just think that the defense scheme is just horrible. I mean, that's the way I feel. So HJ, you want to take it from there?
What are we talking about?
You were looking up JPJ.
Yeah, I was looking up pass interference.
I'll let Schwaber talk about it. How do you feel about Mike Lawrence's comment?
You're talking about defensive.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I don't know who's to blame, if it's Terrell Austin or Mike Tomlin. Either way, let's just say they're both to blame. Okay.
Right.
I mean, they're both in charge of the defense, and the defense was looking like Swiss cheese. But what was more concerning than anything was that you have a guy who's, setting career highs in that game, and you never did anything different the whole game.
Yeah.
And even in the last drive, I mean, like, the guys, like, there's no one within 5-10 yards of them. I mean, it's
amazing.
It's just really, really ridiculous. I mean, look, it shouldn't be that hard. I mean, look, Obviously, the zone does not work against Chase. And you know what? Maybe man-to-man doesn't either.
I don't think it does.
But at least you have a guy within a yard of him. Right?
You're supposed to be that close.
Right? So, if you just take Chase and you go man-to-man and you have, a safety over the top for some help, and a safety who's cheating towards him as well, right? Not just there to help anybody, but pretty much just double teaming Chase, then you at least have some kind of potential to take him out of the play or out of the game, right? You can say, look, we'll live and die with T. Higgins beating us, right?
Right.
But yeah, you got to do something. I mean, there's no excuse at all for, Jamar Chase to be left alone in wide open space. I mean, that's just really terrible coaching. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, and look, it doesn't even have to be a halftime adjustment. It could be a third quarter adjustment.
I know.
You know what I mean?
You can make an adjustment anytime
whenever you want.
Yeah.
Whenever you want. Right. So yeah, I agree. Terrible.
Todd Ross joining us on Facebook. Hey, Todd, head over to YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast. Subscribe over there. You'll know when we go live every Monday night at 7 p.m. He says the short slant was killing them the entire game. Yeah, at one point I even said, is somebody going to, I'm waiting for somebody to jump that slant route. Right. I mean, it's so damn obvious. And I think you're right. I mean, the whole Bill Belichick, sauce for victory basically was no matter what, take away the other team's number one player. Let the rest of the team, let the other players beat you, but we're not going to let this guy beat us. And it's not that you don't have capable players. You can still get beat. But to me, it looked like that Tomlin's entire focus after that press conference where he basically, let the world know that he was super pissed off that Joe Flacco got traded to the Bengals in division a week and a half before he was supposed to play. I feel like he literally, tipped his hand in saying that's what preoccupied him all week, because he was angry enough to say it at a press conference when really what he should have been saying is it doesn't really matter. He's another NFL quarterback. We've played against him before. We'll play against him again. We're game and planning for the Bengals. We don't care that it's Joe Flacco.
Right. Why would you?
Yeah.
And I really think that he did focus on that. And that game plan, he did not know who he wanted to stop. And he looked at the rushing offense for the Bengals and literally said, they're terrible. I'm not worried about them.
Probably.
Even our terrible rush defense is probably going to hold these guys to something not bad. And as far as Higgins and Chase go, I don't know who to cover. I don't know how to cover this. It looked like to me that game plan was he was completely confused. And the reason the reason I know it is look at his face. After they scored 10 quick points and then they marched down the field and took the lead. Every time they showed Tomlin's face, you know what I saw?
Blank stare.
Yep. I saw, oh my God, I did not plan for this game at all. Like I saw that in his face. So I really think that's the big issue. As far as Terrell Austin goes, look, we don't really know how much of the game planning on the defensive side of the ball Terrell Austin does or doesn't do, but I guarantee you he's highly involved because he is the defensive coordinator. But he gets overridden by Tomlin on a regular basis. So I don't know that you can lay any blame at his feet other than, if he's agreeing with everything and it's a bad scheme, then yeah, he's just as much to blame.
Yeah, I think he runs the scheme that Tomlin wants him to run.
Right.
And I agree with you 100% that they weren't prepared for it. Amy, Jamar Chase didn't have 22 catches. He had 22 targets. But still, 22 targets for one wide receiver means he's open quite a bit.
Right.
Yeah. If the number one wide receiver is open quite a bit, and it wasn't just those slants that were killing him, it was the yards after the catch. And then once they were kind of in a zone where they were in the space where he would be in the slant, he would just keep running across the field and eventually be open. And that's what happened in the fourth quarter. He just kept running across the field, and somebody didn't finally cover him. He was open, and then he could run after the catch when that happened. So they really got it. They got to do something different about that. It just absolutely just boggles my mind, just blows my brain right out of my head to think that Jamar Chase had 22 targets and he caught 16 of them, 18 of them, and it just torched us, and it was just too easy. Just too easy.
And afterthought should have been Joe Flacco was the quarterback.
Well,
that was Tomlin's first thought.
I think the Joe Flacco thing is Tomlin showing he's absolutely afraid of something.
Yes.
He always has fears about this guy. And, he says, we run to the challenge, not away from it. That's such bullshit. That's just him saying that. He is so afraid of certain things. He doesn't even want to play against them. And that's what I think you heard when, they said he was, traded by the Browns. Well, look, he was traded to the Browns, but he could have played for the Browns the week before and torched us anyway.
That's true.
So I'm just tired. I'm tired of it.
Well,
if you have a $179 million defense, you can stop a $1 million quarterback.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and
it's ridiculous.
Right. You're 100% right.
And here's the thing too.
And to be afraid of it makes it even worse.
Well, yeah, and I also think now. Look, I mean, I'm not saying I'm completely against zone. I mean, I think it's good to have a mixture, but when you're basically playing the type of zone that the Steelers were playing, the idea was let's prevent the big play. Let's keep everybody in front of us, right?
Right.
But if you watch these games and you watch the best receivers in the league, when they get shut down by man coverage. You have a guy who has some length, who's playing, right up against him, and he hits him in that 5-yard area and throws him off his route. And then all of a sudden, you get a guy like TJ Watt, at least not necessarily, sacking the quarterback, but making him move in the pocket, right? That's how you beat these really good receivers, is get them off their route. And then if you're following them man to man, sometimes you might not really even be covering them that well, but because you are right up next to them, the quarterback doesn't want to throw it, right? Because he just thinks, well, if he turns around, he could catch it, right? So, that's a key. I mean, I really think it's a big deal to, to play more man against these better receivers. And part of playing man is just not being afraid, because you can get burned for a big play and give up an 80-yard touchdown. But
you could get burned playing zone too. I mean, it's the NFL.
You can.
The NFL.
You can.
All right, this is great. Our longtime watchers and listeners say we might have to bring this back at some point. Mike Lawrence says, I think it's time for the Trader Joe's song. No disagreement.
Hey, can we go back to the Joey Porter thing just for a second?
Yeah, real quick.
Because I found some statistics.
Okay, go for it.
The Steelers have had 5 pass interference penalties. 2 were against were JP Jr. 2 were Brandon Eccles. So there was one random person who also had one. Who also has 2 pass interference.
Jalen Ramsey,
Quinyon Mitchell. I think he's pretty good, right? Marshawn Lattimore. He's pretty good, right?
He's not that good anymore, but I get your point.
So I mean, and
after last night,
and they resulted in a net of 12 yards against him. So just stay off of the bullshit with JP Jr. and this pass interference. It's old and it's tiresome, and he's going to be handsy. And he's going to have pass interference penalties, but it's no more than anybody else who isn't a damn superstar in the league.
Well, did you add the holding penalties to it?
No, but
maybe it is more, because it definitely feels like more.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 just seems too low. But I think what we've identified here, Grant Schwabini, that we can play to our advantage going forward is something called a hot button.
It is a hot button.
Yeah.
It is a hot button.
It is a hot button.
Yeah.
And
I just feel bad for Steve, because every week he's like, hoping for that interception return for a touchdown, and it just never comes.
That's going to be a loser every time.
He's getting mad now.
I don't
he's
see.
not enjoying.
There's a lot more clips on that feed from last week that I have queued. I don't have them here yet, but they will make their way in.
He has had 0 holding penalties called against him this year.
Oh, how about last year? You don't feel like going into that? Okay,
I mean, that would have been for the full year anyways. Yeah. That would be foolish to look at.
Yeah, that would be foolish to look at. Of course it would be foolish to look at. Hey, listen.
Dang, now I'm going to want something.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce.
Mm-hmm. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with that honey sauce. All right.
Don't get that honey
sauce on me.
I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
It's back.
It is not back, but
nope.
I thought in honor of the Trader Joe's segment, I would just tell you I'm eating Trader Joe's, what are these called? Peanut butter filled pretzel nougats.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And I give them a thumbs up. So anyway.
We're going to get to our porch picks.
Well, we got to do Aaron Rodgers real quick, and then we'll get to our porch picks. Nice long show tonight. Having a lot of fun. If you're watching us on YouTube, I want to thank you very much for being there. And make sure on YouTube you hit that subscribe button, click notifications so you know when we're live, which is every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And also, you can catch the podcast. I drop it right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you get your freaking podcast. This Sunday night, 8:20, Green Bay at Acrisure Stadium. We're going to be doing a live post-game show again. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have an awful lot of fun because I think we're getting better and better at doing this. Last who's to blame. Now, I'm not assigning blame here. Okay, it's just part of the lexicon of the tickers. Like, who's the
lexicon?
Blame? Yeah. Well, what I wanted to do is I wanted to look at Aaron Rodgers on the worst ever sports franchise in the history of mankind, other than for 1 year when Joe Namath won the world championship. The Jets, that's my opinion.
I'm guessing that he's going to be a lot better than last year.
And I wanted to see, okay, our defense is legendarily poor as far as Steelers defenses are concerned and the amount of money they're paid. Let's take a look at Aaron Rodgers' statistics and see if, it would have made a difference if, say, the defense was ranked 18th or 15th even in close to the top half of the league. So as far as Aaron Rodgers is concerned, 2024 with the New York Jets.
You going to pull up the Canva?
I'm doing it. The first 6 games, you're going to pull up the Canva. There is your Canva. 14 of 221, 63.8 completion percentage, 1,466 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Now, the rating isn't exact because I just did the average over 6 games, 95.86. 2025, 118 for 172, 68.6. A little better. Only 1,270 yards, 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, passing rating a little higher. I would call that...
I'd say a lot higher.
Passer rating higher. I would call that a little...
It's a lot higher.
Yeah, whatever. I would call that a little better this year. The yards are down a couple hundred. Touchdowns are up, interceptions are up, and he's thrown 50 less passes. Now, of course, the Jets defense was not great, I'm
actually surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot better.
Right.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised by that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I still think he's better this year compared to last year.
Right.
But and that's mainly the completion percentage. I think anytime you're around 70%, you're having a really good year.
Right.
And I like that it's more touchdowns. I it is surprising that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would expect them to be better than last year, but not significantly better, only because the Steelers don't throw the ball enough to really necessitate,
right,
a huge differential against the Jets. I don't know. I think clearly Aaron Rodgers is not to blame.
Right.
He's far from the blame
Yeah.
when it comes to what's going on with this offense and this team. I think actually you can say easily that he's probably the reason they have 2 of the 4 wins. So I just hope he stays healthy. Honestly, I'm getting a little bit concerned as the season goes on. He's not been hit a lot lately, which has been good, but he has had to run out of the pocket for his life quite a bit. Eventually, that's going to catch up with him in a long season. Hopefully, he's got some kind of good stretch regimen going on. He's got the right kind of bark. He's chawing on.
He knows what kind of bark to chew on.
So as long as that's going to happen, I'm not going to be concerned. But that would be my biggest concern.
I would send him down the back of the hill here at my house and let him pick some mushrooms.
Meditation Monday.
Yeah, Meditation Monday. I agree with you. I think Rodgers is playing well. I think he displayed some really incredible pocket presence skills during that Bengals game, that one shot where it looked like he was dead to rights, and he hung in there in between 4 defenders in a square around him, stepped to the left and made that throw. I mean, I would say Aaron Rodgers is definitely the reason that this team is still in the thick of things right now. I would wager to say that if I was going to blame anybody for our 4-2 record this year, 100% blame the defense. We haven't even gotten into the rushing game. We'll probably save that for after this Green Bay game. But I mean, seriously, it's definitely, he is an incredible upgrade over what we had last year. How about Fields being benched?
Yeah.
Thank God the Steelers did not sign him. Thank God. But they tried. It's like, you look at that and say, okay, at this point, with hindsight, all the angst about Rodgers over the summertime, come on, just make up your mind. We don't want him. Now I'm like, thank God we got him. Thank God we got him. At least the games are exciting. He's going to push it downfield. He knows what to do. So this week was the blame game. We talked about the defense. Who knows who we'll talk about after the game on Sunday night, but we're going to do that post-game show live. So make sure you click that subscribe button, hit notifications, and after the game, just wait for us to show up. We're going to have a lot of fun. Hopefully it's a Steelers victory and we can party, but I'll tell you what, if it's a loss, people get mad. There's going to be a lot of people here at one event.
Well, it's a huge game because there's a major difference between 5-2 and 4-3.
Absolutely.
Major difference. And there's going to be a lot of interesting, it's one of those games where if the Steelers win it and win it convincingly,
right,
then you can start thinking maybe they're for real.
They're back. Yeah.
Yeah. But if not, then it's just like it's more of the same, and that would be depressing.
So let's do a real quick what are the keys to victory this game, break down the Packers and all that. HJ, you were looking up some stuff on the Packers.
Yeah, I was looking up some things on the Packers. The thing about their defense is they're pretty damn good. They're number 2 against the rush, and they're number 8 against the pass. So their defense is very good, but their offense, believe it or not, is not very good. It's pretty much in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, Jordan Love's been just okay.
They're about where the Steelers are offensively. In some cases, a little bit below the Steelers, if you can believe it. Where they really show the difference is in turnovers. The Packers have no fumbles off of the rush this year and only 2 interceptions. And the Steelers have 9 total, 4 against the rush and 5 interceptions. So guess what it's going to come down to, boys, like it always does, the turnover battle. I think that's really going to be it. I think the Steelers are going to struggle to run the ball against the Packers. Although I think this will be a good test for that offensive line. I keep thinking they're making strides, they're getting better. Clearly they were better against Cincinnati. We'll know after Sunday whether it was Cincinnati's terrible defense or if the offense gets going. If Jaylen Warren can get 80 yards against the Packers, I say that they're probably going to get a win. And it's not going to be easy though. It's definitely not going to be easy. I'll tell you what, they will need a turnover.
I'll tell you, in my mind anyway, what is the matchup of the week is going to be Micah Parsons against Broderick Jones and
no doubt
and he'll probably line up on both sides.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you think about Micah Parsons getting to the quarterback or pressuring the quarterback, that can rush throws, that can cause turnovers. A strip sack could happen. If the Steelers tackles can keep him at bay, then I think it means really good things for the Steelers. But that's a big if.
And on top of that,
you know what they'll do? It'll just be the short pass. That's what they'll do.
Well,
that's good. That makes sense.
Yeah, and those are the two things to think about. First of all, Rodgers is the quickest in the NFL at getting the ball out because he knows his line is inexperienced, and that's the word we'll use from now on because that's pretty much what they are. I mean, other than Sayamalu. They're inexperienced, so he's a veteran. He gets the ball out quick. However, Micah Parsons, this is his 4th year, right?
I think it's his 5th year because it would have been like the 5th year.
I'm pretty sure it's his 4th year.
Oh no, I think you're right. It is 4th.
Yeah,
it's 4th
because they would have had to pick up his contract now.
Right.
Why they just let him.
So here's the point that I'm trying to make about that. Rodgers did not have a very long history playing against him. And I think that poses kind of an issue because, for example, if you've played a division opponent that has a superstar on the other side of the line, for quite a few years, you have a lot of film on them when they play you, and you've also played against them. So you can kind of forecast some of their tendencies. And a lot of times it doesn't make a huge difference because what you have is, you've got 11 players on the field. But when it's somebody like Micah Parsons, who can be unpredictable and has great moves, that poses a problem. So yes, this is a test for that offensive line. I don't think the baseline is the Cincinnati game because they did not have Trey Hendrickson. And yes, the line looked above average in that game. I don't know what the PFF grades were, and I don't really care. What I saw was a line that looked pretty decent, but the caveat is they're playing a really shitty defensive line. So if they're going to make progress, they better look good against this line, and they did. So yes, the real test is going to be this week against Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons only has 5.5 sacks on the year.
No, but he
had 3 against the Cardinals. So
yeah, of course.
So he can pop off. I think that's exactly what Mark's saying.
Yeah, and whoever our Gary is on Green Bay also has 5.5 sacks.
Yeah, which that's the TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith effect of a few years ago.
The two of them are tied for 6th in the NFL.
Yeah, so and you can look.
No, it's definitely something you have to be aware of because you're right, Chris. He could take over the game with one big bull rush. He tomahawks the ball out of there, and all hell breaks
boom
loose.
And then Broderick Jones,
just like TJ could do,
whichever tackle it is on whichever side, they lose their footing. Next thing you know, they're like, oh my god,
that's right, losing their footing. Acrisure Stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess we'll get to see how that new turf looks.
Now, question for you: the last time the Steelers played the Packers, didn't we watch it here? And it was like the first game where Jordan Love actually looked really good.
I think so.
I don't remember, but I know they played them in Green Bay and they kicked our ass.
Yeah,
right.
We might have watched it here.
Yeah, I think we did.
They destroyed us because I was thinking about going to that game, and Scott went to that game. The counselor went to that game, and he was like just beside himself.
Where is the counselor? I feel like he's disappeared.
Well, he had to get a real job now.
Yeah.
So he does finally have a real job.
Yeah, unlike some people in this room.
The money ran out.
I knew it was
the money. The money ran out.
Listen,
Squirrel
folks,
Hill without air conditioning. Good luck.
It's only a matter of time before it all comes back to me. I know that.
Let's make our picks. I want to brag a little bit.
All right.
Yes. So if you're watching on YouTube, thanks guys for being here. Hit the subscribe button and click notifications because you'll know when we're live or when we post a new short or a new video. Please go over there and do that. We'd really appreciate it. Every Monday night at 7 p.m. we are live, and after the Steelers game, we do our live post-game show. I drop the podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. Next up here, predictions. What do? We predict. And sometimes we predict right, and sometimes we predict wrong. Porch picks, NFL, every week we pick 3 games, the Thursday night game, the Sunday night game, and a random Sunday game. Last week on Sunday, I took the Rams with Mark, or excuse me, Steve took the Rams with Mark, and I took the Jags. Atlanta at San Francisco, we ran the table. All three of us had the Niners. Steelers at Cincy. Chris and Mark thought the Steelers were going to win, and Hockey Jesus, the resident Yinzer, the angry Yinzer.
Wow.
He picked Cincinnati, but he knew what he was talking about. So this year, HJ now in the lead, 13-8. TD hanging in there, 11-10, and the Grand Schwabini not far behind at 10-11. The first game this week that we're going to pick is the Thursday night game, and the Thursday night game happens to be the Vikings at my man crush.
The Chargers.
The Chargers.
The LA Chargers.
The Chargers. You got it. You got it. So Vikings at Chargers. Steve, you were 3-0 last week.
Yes, I was.
You go first, and we want your comments or your picks in the comments. Your picks in the comments. Vikings at Chargers. HJ, go for it.
I got no feel for this game, so I'm just going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with the Chargers.
It's the Chargers. Carson Wentz is a turnover machine.
This is very, very true. So Mark and Steve are going with the Chargers.
Well, J.J. McCarthy actually might be back.
Yeah, he might be back. You're right.
Yeah.
There is a chance.
But I'm still going to stick with the Chargers.
Here's the thing. The Chargers are up against the wall. I picked them to make the Super Bowl this year. It's at home. This, to me, is their first absolute must-win game of the season. I think Harbaugh has them ready to play. I am also going to go with the Chargers. Okay, the Sunday game. Cowboys at Broncos.
The Broncos.
Cowboys.
Oh, boy.
At Broncos.
The Broncos.
Did Dallas win?
Cowboys.
They beat the
yes,
formerly
Commanders.
known as the
they
Redskins.
beat the Commanders in a commanding fashion with Pickens at the helm.
I know.
Well, they got CD Lamb back. This is a really good battle. CD Lamb and Pickens against Denver's secondary.
Yep.
Javonte Williams can run the hell out of the ball, believe it or not. Denver's pretty stiff against the run. Oh boy, this is tough. But you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say Dallas.
All right. Steve says Dallas.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think the Broncos are the best team in the league. I mean, they're just, I feel like, honestly, they're just terrible.
Right.
But somehow they keep winning these games, which is crazy.
They do.
I was leaning towards the Cowboys, but I think we have to remember that the Cowboys can look really good one week and look really bad another week, and they're definitely not as good on the road. So I'm going to take the Broncos and say the Bo Nix love fest continues.
It's one of the few outdoor games for Dallas.
Yeah.
This is tough. The Cowboys have the number one offense in the league. And Denver has, I think, a top 10 defense.
They're one or two.
The problem is that Jackson Dart took an 18-point lead over them in the first half, and they weren't able to score on the Giants until the third quarter. So what that tells me is...
although I think the Giants have a top defense, don't they?
Giants defense is top 10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cowboys defense, they say, showed up against the Commanders. The Commanders were without their top three wide receivers. And then Jaden Daniels he went down. So
excuses.
This is
next man.
You know what? I'm going with the Broncos because this is a home game. They're riding high. Dallas is Jekyll and Hyde all the way. And while they looked fantastic against the Commanders and the last couple games, I think this is the game in Denver where, well, I mean, you know how this goes. You know, we lost to the Bengals. So your comments, your pick in the comments, Sunday Cowboys at Broncos. All right, Sunday night, game of the week that we are going to continue our post-game something. Would somebody help me, please?
What are you saying?
For God's sake.
You're like bringing out the pirate voice.
I know.
And you're talking about football. You're confusing yourself.
Lost.
I'm looking for help is what I'm looking for. I'm
just
trying to do 8
announce
things
the
at
Steelers
once.
play at home against the Green Bay Packers. Who do you got?
Who do you got? Packers at Steelers. right here.
Well, just like I did last week, I'm going to stick with my pick for the year, and I have the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Green Bay Packers, so I'm going with Pittsburgh.
I don't remember who I had. Do you have who I had before the season?
No, I didn't. I don't think
Didn't
I wrote
you write it all down?
I did, but it's somewhere else.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Wait, you're picking the Steelers, you said? Okay.
Picked them once, I'm picking them again.
Boy, is this a tough one.
It is.
It's really tough. And don't the Steelers have like an undefeated record on Sunday night at home?
They're very good at home. They're
Something
better.
like that.
They're better Monday night.
Okay.
Their Monday night record's much better. I don't think Tomlin's lost the Monday night game. So they have lost games on.
I don't know.
I don't know
about that.
It just seems like
lost a game, but not.
I just feel like it's so hard to have a confident bet on the Steelers with that defense.
I know.
You know what I mean? I'll take the Packers in a close one.
This to me is the Steelers' first absolute must-win game of the year, just because you said there is a big difference between 5-2 and 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
And as the year goes on, we still have 2 games against Baltimore. We still have a game against Cleveland and Cincinnati. I don't care who's quarterbacking those games. They're toss-ups every year. Mm-hmm. So there's the potential of 2 more losses right there, which would put you at 5 losses plus whatever you got to do in between, we play Kansas City again, whoever we play. I'm just saying this game is super important. The Steelers defense was embarrassed and they know it. I think Aaron Rodgers, he wants to beat the Packers, so I think he's going to be slinging it everywhere. The Packers offense is not great, but their defense is good. So that's where the problem comes in. If the Packers defense was average or a little below average, I think Rodgers carves them up. With Parsons in there and their defense against the run really good, that poses a lot of problems for the passing game because we like to use that run to set up the pass. And man, I'm going with the Steelers. I got to believe that Cam and TJ and Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay and JPJ and Highsmith and Herbig and Benton and whoever the hell else they put in at line, Yaya or YA or however the hell you want to say his freaking name. And another thing, that Darnell Washington, that 1,200-pound left or right side of the line, I think that really helps the offense. That helps against Micah Parsons. Because if you think you want to have him, who do you want chipping Micah Parsons? Warren or Darnell Washington?
Both.
They can do it.
All 3 and throw in Broderick Jones.
Darnell Washington might miss him though.
They might have to use.
True. Yeah, it's true.
They might have to use 7 down linemen.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. But I guess what I'm saying is that here I am, amateur sports enthusiast, professional sports enthusiast, amateur defensive coordinator, saying, "Hey, why not put the biggest, heaviest, very athletic guy on the end of your line, the extra guy, in front of Micah Parsons a few times and see what happens?" I mean, at the very least, you tire him out, So, but I'm going with the Steelers. I think they were embarrassed, and they don't want to be embarrassed at home again because the whole stadium's going to boo. If they get crushed and the Packers run for 140 yards against them, there's going to be some shit hitting the fan.
Yeah,
or there better be some shit hitting the fan.
Yeah.
Who's their running back again? The Packers? Josh Jacobs.
Oh, yeah, Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. That's tough. That's tough. Exactly.
If you can believe Google Gemini, their record on Sunday night is 22-15 under Tomlin.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's not that good.
It's good.
20-3 Monday night.
Yeah. I thought you said 22-15.
No. Their Monday night record is 20.
Okay. So it's Monday night, really.
3 losses.
Okay.
And 22-15 is Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Okay.
So it's still good. At 22-15 is good.
If you can believe winning. Google Gemini, check the facts.
He played. That means they played 37 games on Sunday night. That's a lot for any coach.
Well, he's been around the most.
So, all right, guys, listen, remember, Sunday night after Packers at Steelers, hit us up, YouTube. We will be here live with reaction, analysis, tears of either joy,
oh boy,
or
a
sadness.
lot of swearing.
Maybe some anger.
There will be anger.
I know there will be clippable moments, just like the one I clipped earlier.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's move on to a different part of the show now. Part of the show that where there is reverence involved, where we have to pay homage to
a holy man.
To a holy man, the holy man being Hockey Jesus above me here. Hockey Jesus, who preaches on the podcast after every single friggin' Penguins game and throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs and the Stanley Cup. Hockey Jesus after every game. Go to the Sports Porch podcast. Go to the Sports Porch on Spotify, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts. Subscribe. You can pick up that. I think you're doing them live now too.
I did the last one live.
Okay,
yes.
So he's doing it on YouTube at the Sports Porch podcast live. Before we get going on this, next game is
tomorrow night,
but it's here
at home. So tomorrow night, home game. He'll be able to get some sleep. Hockey Jesus will be there. So what do you got going on here, HJ? How are you impressed with their? I mean, I'm pretty impressed with a couple things. I like the way Muse coaches. I like the fact that he's playing the younger guys. Yeah.
I think Malkin's line is kind of coming to life.
The Shrek line.
Yeah, I know there's some. I know there's some things that you kind of disagree with one of the rookies that was playing on Sid's line.
Billy Koivunen, yeah.
Koivunen. So where are we now? Without diving back into the previous podcasts.
Yep. No, essentially the Steelers are Steelers. The Pittsburgh Penguins are 4-2. Okay. And if you look at the division is so tight. Like I think everybody else is like 2-3 and something like that, and Carolina is like 5-0. So they're right now they're third in the Metro, but everything's so close. The only one that has a really big goal differential is Carolina. They're a +12. The Penguins are like it's +6 or something like that. Anyway, you are right. I love the way that Muse has this team playing defensively. They're very well structured, meaning you don't just have one person near the puck. You always have another person near the puck. So if you miss it, then somebody else will get it. That's what I like about this. The other thing I like about it is getting the West Coast games out of the way right away. That was pretty nice. So I can get my sleep this week. But as far as the other teams that we've played, they played against the Ducks, who are just a fast team up and down. They played against a terrible team in San Jose, who they beat pretty easily. So I think that they're structured well to be in the hunt. The problem with that is you're one injury away from, falling backwards. You're a prize away from, being in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So, my problem with Billy Koivunen is when Brian Rust got healthy, he got sent down the Wilkes-Barre. He didn't get sent down to the second line or the third line. They sent him back down the Wilkes-Barre. And I just don't understand that. This kid definitely belongs up here. He needs to be here. I think what they're going to be doing with the rookie Kindle is very interesting, because if they end up keeping him, which they could, I don't think they will, but if they could, it's going to free up. It's going to be a problem with roster spots, because McGroarty is going to be healthy again soon. And then you got McGroarty, Kindle, and essentially you're not going to lose Brazeau off of that second line, that Shrek line, because that chemistry is just too good. So I love this team. I think they're a lot of fun to watch. They do play a more structured game, but they still got Sid out there. Sid can still do amazing things. If you saw the tip in that he had against San Jose, I don't even know how you know to tip the puck basically off the shaft of your stick like that. It's just he's still got it. That first line still has it. There still would be a first line on any team in the NHL. So I think if you throw it all together, it's a recipe for being in the hunt. And I don't know if that's necessarily good or bad, but any talk about tanking for Gavin McKenna until somebody of significance gets injured, just shut up about that.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, they're 6 games into the season.
Yeah.
Now's not, I don't care how bad your team, you think your team's going to be. You're not talking about tanking.
Well, last year, just for perspective, they were 3-3 at this time.
Right.
So they weren't that much worse, not that much better.
Right.
But this was when I think they went on like a 7-game losing streak.
Yeah, I remember that. Didn't they win their first 2 last year?
Yeah, something like that.
And then they might have won their first 3.
And
then
they tanked. Yeah. They started to tank after that. So
yeah.
We'll see. 3 of the next 4 are at home. That's kind of nice for some home cooking. This weekend, you'll see if you're going to be watching it. They're bringing back the Pittsburgh Penguins Hall of Fame. So 4 guys are getting inducted into that.
Who's getting inducted?
It's Kevin Stevens.
Okay.
You might know him.
Yeah.
Ron Francis.
Yep.
You might remember him.
Good old Ronnie Francis.
Scotty Bowman.
I'm saying they're not in?
No. They put a pause on the Penguins
Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
They put a pause on having a Pittsburgh Penguins Hall of Fame. I don't know why. They just got away from it like in 2013.
Okay.
So there are some people already in the Penguins Hall of Fame. But they have a mix. So they're putting in 2 coaches, Eddie Johnson and Scotty Bowman. So
wow,
those 4 guys are going in. They'll be at a ceremony on Saturday. So I still might get tickets for it. They're pretty affordable. The problem is I went to actually buy them because you could buy those in a ticket. You had to buy them in pairs. Like, come on, Pittsburgh Penguins. What the heck? Like, I want to buy a single. I'm sure there are other people that will buy a single and will sit next to me.
Who wants to go to a Penguins game alone besides you?
Dude, you don't go alone. 8,187 fans. 18,187 fans.
Hockey Jesus, folks. We're all brothers. We're all brothers. Chris Chada, can you answer his question before we move on here?
Yeah, Chris Chada is asking if I can explain what a scratch means. How many scratches do you want? How many do you get? 2 people usually get scratched per game, Chris. A scratch means that you can go out for the warm-up skate, but they always have usually 2 players too many to be able to put on the bench. So they have to scratch 2 players. That doesn't. They always have 2 goalies, so you can't scratch a goalie. Although this year they have the what they call the e-bug, the emergency goalie. But this year, every team has a 3rd goalie. So they already know who the 3rd goalie would be instead of an emergency guy. He's on the roster, but he doesn't count against the salary. That's just
weird.
It's just weird that they never had it.
Who is the 3rd goaltender?
It's one of Sid's friends.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It's so weird.
He's
the way
probably
they do
sitting
that.
in the clubhouse drinking a Miller Lite during the game.
Yeah. But anyway, I forget his name. I'll get it for you next week.
Put that beer down and get your pads on. It's time to get in there.
But that's what a scratch is. It happens. Usually it's almost always is a defenseman and an offensive guy. But sometimes people will go with what they call 7 defensemen. So if you hear a 7 defensemen playing, that means they didn't scratch a defenseman, which is weird because you can only put 2 out there at a time. So you got a mismatch of defensemen out there. But that happens when people really don't think they can score and they need to slow down the opposition.
I have a quick question for you. What was the rookie goaltender last year? Was his name Bloomquist?
Yeah.
Bloomquist, yeah.
Why is he not on the team?
He didn't really show anything.
No.
Here's the problem with Bloomquist. He is going to be behind Murashov. That's the problem. Murashov is their guy, but he's just too young.
Okay.
So him and Yoel are down at Wilkes-Barre, and as it turns out, they must be pretty good because right now Wilkes-Barre's undefeated.
So is this Bloomquist essentially not in their plans? Is somebody they'll eventually trade?
I think he'll probably end up being the backup goalie. So when they bring up Murashov, they'll bring up Bloomquist, and then they'll be their 2 goalies.
Gotcha.
Or they might trade him. They might trade him for somebody.
I thought he showed some promise. I mean,
he did, but if you've seen Murashov play, he's more like Fleury in the way he moves.
Okay.
Just really incredible speed, able to cover the net much better than Bloomquist. And Bloomquist is, once again, not a big guy either. So those goalies,
Yeah.
I'm not too bent out of shape that he's not on the team. He got a chance last year and he didn't grab the chance.
And what's your assessment of the new goaltender? Is his name Slowia or something?
Sheloff.
Okay, so I was a little off.
Mother Russia.
Sheloff from Mother Russia.
No, he's a good goalie. I mean, he's won a playoff series. He's an NHL goalie. The thing is, I think he's making Jari realize that he's good enough to take his job, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as they both are playing well, I think you'll see this trade-off, one in, one out. They're not going to play the hot goalie. So I like that, actually. That way, I think until somebody shows that they're really terrible, and I think Jari did at times on the West Coast. He didn't in the last game, but they weren't playing against a very good team either. So I think the goalie situation is okay, mostly because the defense in front of them is a lot better. So you don't need to have an absolute stellar goalie who's, stopping 2-on-1s, et cetera. So, yeah, that's the way I feel about the goalie situation.
All right. Hockey Jesus. He's going to preach on the podcast tomorrow night after, who are the Pens playing again?
They play Vancouver.
The
undefeated Vancouver
Canucks. The Canucks.
It's going to be a hockey night in Pittsburgh.
What's a Canuck?
Them Vancouver Canucks and that are going to be down there. PPG Paints and Hockey Jesus is going to be down there. He's going to preach on the podcast.
JD,
he's going to preach.
Can you explain what a Canuck is?
A Canuck. It's kind of like a situation in which you're damned if you do or damned if you don't. Right?
You're Canucked.
That's a Canuck.
It's a conundrum.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's a conundrum.
Wait a minute. I was wrong. Yes, it's a conundrum. That's a conundrum.
A conundrum.
All right. Go to theporcheslive.com and register. Send us your email address so we can send you some fun shit. Also, watch our live show, listen to the podcast, watch shorts and more, www.theporcheslive.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast. Click that notifications button. You'll know when we're live, which is every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. I drop the podcast right after tonight's show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. Last part of our show tonight, something that we do to give back to you.
By the way, quickly, a Canuck is a slang term for Canadian.
You didn't know that?
No, I probably did, and then I forgot.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's not derogatory. It's
like you're my
not like
you're my Canadian. It's like you're my home.
Yeah, you're my Canuck. Yo, Canuck.
Okay.
Yo, what's up, Canuck?
I just think the entire statement of that is a little bit of a conundrum for us, to be honest with you.
I think
we could take it in a lot of different directions. All right, what we're watching tonight, Grant Schwabini, my throat's dry. Take it away.
Well, folks, we have reached the point of the evening where we thank you so much for your viewership, for your loyalty, that we have decided that we want to give something back to you. And that is when it comes to, you run out of shows you're watching, and what do you watch next, right? There's so many choices. You got Hulu, you got Amazon Prime, you've got HBO Max, you've got Netflix, you've got Peacock.
I'm already confused.
It's too much to do. We do it for you. And what we do is we watch either a movie in its entirety, can't walk out on it to give a review, or we watch a series where you have to at least have watched an entire season of that series before you make a review. Because sometimes, something looks good and then it's all of a sudden not so good, right? So we want to make sure we're doing right by you. And tonight, we are going to tell you whether something is thumbs up, means it's a lock, or thumbs down, which means don't waste your time. We just saved you hours of your life.
You're welcome.
Yes. So start us off.
The Grand Schwabini.
Oh.
Has anybody been watching The House of Guinness?
No, but I'm very interested.
House of Guinness is by the folks who did Peaky Blinders.
Yes.
And I have to say, it's really, really good.
Is it? Okay.
Nice.
It's really, really good. much like Peaky Blinders, I don't know if you guys remember, but like, the first episode was like, it was a little slow, kind of, a little bit. I mean,
Peaky Blinders. I agree with you.
I dove into Peaky Blinders right away.
I liked it, but you're right. It was a little slow.
It was a little slow in the beginning.
There was some character development that was going on. It was like, come on, let's get to the
I think there's a little bit of slowness in the beginning, but, it's an 8-episode season 1, ends on a cliffhanger. It's really good. It's a good story. It's about the Guinness family. And it's not an entirely true story, but I looked after watching the first season, what's true, what's not true. Most of it's true.
Yeah.
It's just like embellished a little bit. Right. So it's an interesting thing. I kind of like the the way they do, the way they did Peaky Blinders, where it's kind of like they have that, like, there's really cool music involved, and it's like a period piece. It's almost like the music sort of like doesn't go with the time, but it kind of does. Mm-hmm. And it's basically about, the Guinness family is incredibly rich. They have aspirations of, getting into politics. And there's a group of people called the Fenians. And they oppose. There's opposing tensions in the politics of Ireland.
No, in Ireland.
Yes, in Ireland.
Ireland used to fight?
No way.
And so you have, like,
people forget.
The Guinness folks are kind of now like high society, and the Fenians are kind of like the poor,
lowbrow.
Right. And it's really good, and it's it looks like, they haven't necessarily said that there's going to be a season 2, but apparently the writer of it, the Peaky Blinders guys, they said they've got 5 seasons ready. So I think it's gonna happen. There's definitely going to be season 2 after the cliffhanger.
Cliffhangers.
So,
I hate cliffhangers.
The only thing about the cliffhanger is, like, like if you're not watching it, like, when it's all done,
right?
Like, now I have to wait 6 months or whatever. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a big 2 thumbs up. I think you guys will both love it.
Well, I have one question.
Yes,
and one question only.
Sure.
You know what that question is?
I don't.
Yes, you do.
Nope.
How good's the sex?
Yep. That's it.
Some good stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some good stuff.
All right, I'm definitely
Come on, he asks it every week.
And I don't, I'm not a Game of Thrones dude.
Yeah.
But I think there's somebody who's like pretty big from Game of Thrones who's in it.
Yeah.
I just can't recall.
Yeah. Are they involved in
the short guy?
Good sex scenes?
I don't think so.
Is it the short guy?
I think it is the short guy.
Oh, the little guy.
Dinkle.
No, not him.
Yeah.
Not him.
Not
just
the
another
midget?
guy who's short, but not a midget.
Not the vertically challenged.
No.
The
but
short guy. Yeah.
But there's also there's a really cool character in it. His name is like Mr. Rafferty, and he's like the Guinness family fixer.
Yeah.
And he's just a real
the
fun.
Ray Donovan.
Yeah,
I was just going to say
he's probably my favorite character in it.
Okay. All right. House of Guinness. Schwaber gives it 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
HJ.
This was a no-brainer.
HJ. Yeah. Actually, when I saw this, I was like, yeah, this is on my list. It's probably going to make me cry. I have a feeling.
Oh yeah, it absolutely will.
You're gonna tell me all about that.
This is the I Like Me, the John Candy. The I don't even know how you say it. It's
biography?
Basically a tribute of his life.
Yeah.
It's more than a biography, because all the heavy hitter guys are there, and they're talking about him, and he was just loved by everybody.
Yeah.
Like everywhere he went, not just the people he worked with, but did you know that he and John Hughes were like super friends?
Yeah.
They did everything together.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And I also didn't know that his dad died when he was 5.
Oh.
And
now I feel really bad.
It messed him up for his whole life, and you wouldn't even have known it, like, because he's such a joyful guy.
Yeah.
And that was what everybody said. He didn't want to wear that on his sleeve. So, he just wanted to make people happy, and that's what he did his whole life.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, he was worried about his weight at the end. And when he died, where he died was in the middle of nowhere. Basically, he was trying to get his nutrition under control. Everybody was really worried about him and thought he was going to die, because he went from XL, the double XL, the triple XL, the 5XL. And his wife was like, it was something he never really wanted to talk about. And he never really thought of it as a problem. But when you're putting on that much weight, it just has too much stress on the heart. And that's pretty much what did him in. But it's just like you get to go back and relive all the movies, Uncle Buck.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Exactly. And they actually...
The Great Outdoors is my favorite John Candy
Great Outdoors.
movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just so many.
So many good ones.
And then they even talk about the ones where, he wanted to do so many favors for other people. He would be in anything. And some of them were absolute duds. And I don't even remember, like, some of the names. I was like, I don't know the names of some of these movies. But that's what he did. He was a people pleaser, died way too soon. But absolutely 100% worth the watch. And yes, have a box of tissues right next to you.
All right. John Candy, I Like Me on Prime. HJ gives it 2 thumbs up. I completed, I think it was yesterday. Yes.
Is it a documentary?
This is on Netflix.
What?
And it's called True Haunting.
I don't think I've seen this.
It's new. Basically, it's about the paranormal. And
I'm a big fan.
They interview, I know Amy said that earlier, House of Guinness is really good, not slow at all. They basically, it's a 5-episode limited series. I think they're going to do more seasons, but I don't really care if they do, to be honest with you. You guys know me in documentaries and the paranormal, right?
Yeah, I'm not surprised you watched it.
Aliens, ghosts, conspiracy theories,
things that go bump in the night.
Absolutely. I'm waiting for the mothership to come down. I'm watching Invasion on Apple TV Plus.
It's already here. Atlas 3i, it's coming for you.
There you go. I know. I saw that. I'm going to put a big flag out.
Oh no, they know where to find.
Take me. Okay, that's cool.
No flags necessary.
This was basically
He'll be probing you.
This was this. How do you know that hasn't already happened?
He'll be loving it.
Yeah, they're back for a second look.
I've had.
He'll be out.
A follow up. We gotta go down there and stick a follow up his butt. Anyway, so
that's not where they put the probe.
Oh, please. Okay, so
so what's this about?
Yeah, basically, it's a five episodes. The first 3 episodes are dedicated to one haunting situation. The last 2, another one. The first one, it was a haunting in a college dorm in some weird named college back in the 80s. Time we were in college. A young man was affected by some sort of ghost, and it goes through. I will not belabor you with the details, but it goes through his experiences, and then, like, obviously his friends experience it with him. So the second one is a family, the classic. They moved into a house. It was like the house of their dreams. And then a whole bunch of weird shit started happening to everybody.
Oh boy.
And eventually they had to move out and blah, blah, blah.
Get out of there.
At least they got out.
Okay.
Some people never get out.
To a guy who enjoys hauntings, documentaries. I did a ghost hunt once in a graveyard live on Pittsburgh Beautiful. I love this stuff. I believe there's something to it. I don't know what it is. I got to tell you, it was uninspiring. I
wasn't that good.
I think the stories,
they didn't break any new news.
And listen, God forbid, I don't make documentaries. I would love to be honest with you. I really would. So I can't really criticize them, the people that did it, because I think the ideas are good. Well, I'm going to. I'm just
you are.
I'm just hoping someday if that
just
dream
let
job
them have it
pops up, they don't reference this show. So I just don't think it was done very well. I don't think it was planned out very well. I don't think there wasn't enough drama. The way I think the stories on their own were very, very compelling.
So you think there really was a haunting?
I don't know.
That's the thing.
But the point is,
maybe they picked the wrong one.
The stories were very compelling. The way they were told was not. So I'm going to leave you with this, because we had an hour and 40 minutes. What a great show we had tonight. True Haunting, unless you are 100% diehard, you got to see this because you watch every ghost documentary like I do. Stay away from it. Stay away from.
Hey, one more thing before we go off.
Okay.
Happy birthday to my wife.
Oh,
yes, Susan DeFlitch. I wished her happy birthday on LinkedIn today.
Very nice.
You?
That's the way to go.
Did not get a thank you yet, though.
And, she's got a lot of thank yous to give out. She's a very popular woman.
That's funny.
Happy birthday, honey.
Happy birthday, Susan. I can't believe you stuck with this guy all those years, but you know what? Somebody picked me too. So Amy says, good show, guys. No hard feelings, Steve, about JPJ. We can agree to disagree.
You know it, Amy. That's why you were here.
That's what we're famous
That's
for.
what we do.
We are absolutely famous for disagreeing. Yes. And with that being said, this in the Sports Porch Black and Gold edition. You're watching us all over the world on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Remember, we're moving over to YouTube. We're moving over to YouTube exclusively very soon at the Sports Porch Podcast on YouTube. If you haven't done it already, right now, I want you to do this right now. Click that subscribe button and the notifications button. You'll know we're going live every Monday night at 7 p.m. And this Sunday, I'm going to tease it like I did last week. This Sunday night, 8:20, you got the Steelers. The Packers are in town. We're going to do a post-shame show after the fact with reactions, tears, either joyful or sad. For the Grand Schwabini, for Hockey Jesus, I'm your technical director. That's right, folks. We'll see you soon. I am out.